Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Joe Martin Show. Today I'm here with Savant Fossa. So can you introduce yourself?
What's up? My name is Daniel. I am the guy behind Savant Fossa.
So how did you get your stage name? Because that's a very interesting name.
Yeah, so I was making music before I got my stage name, and I was having a conversation with my brother. I was texting him, and I don't know, I really don't know how we got to the name, but basically combining two weird words together.
Mm-hmm.
So savant means like a wise person, someone wise. And fossa is just it's just a type of cat, like a type of lion or something like that.
Yeah, when I was thinking of that, I was thinking of the movie Madagascar.
Oh, oh, nice, yeah. So yeah, that's how we came up with that, and I thought it looked nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just stuck to it.
And to you, like, what does it mean? Because I mean, wise cat is it something like that's meant something to you, or?
Honestly, not really. It's just I thought the words they both looked good together combined,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it was something unique, like so yeah, I just went with it just because it looked nice.
I mean, it's a good thing because sometimes it becomes like hard finding an artist name or just a name that, like, let's say you use your actual name, it becomes really hard to like find you on algorithms. And
Yes.
that was like a big reason why I used Joe Martin instead of like Jose Martinez, because if I put Jose Martinez, it was going to be difficult to find me, like online. There's so many of us, and I'm like, okay, let me go with Joe Martin. And I mean,
Yo, no,
it's less syllables too, so I mean, it's easier to pronounce.
yeah. So funny thing is, I just remembered now. Before this name, I was going under another name, just briefly for not even a year or whatever. It was NENW. Those letters together. It's not a word, and you can't even pronounce it. But I don't know why I went with it. I so it was good to have a change.
Yeah. And out of curiosity, what made you go with your musical choice? Because it's like very synth pop based to me, at least in my opinion, and it's very different from what most people do in the valley. Like the only other person I could think of that does that kind of music is a guy named Fabian Villa, but other than that, it's mostly either hardcore music or rock or something like that.
Yeah, and yeah, so that's I noticed that too when I started doing shows in the valley, and I didn't play many shows cuz I eventually moved out, but I miss it so much I want to go back. Anyway, um so I was again my brother, he was giving me a ride back home
Mm-hmm.
from somewhere, and the song Let It Happen by Tame Impala was playing. And if you've heard the song, there's this huge instrumental piece in the middle of the song, which is insane. And I was like, oh my God, this sounds great. All of these like layers of sounds and synthesizers and effects. And I don't know, I really liked that sound. And so I started going with that. So I tried to do similar sounds and stuff like that. And I guess that's just how I got to doing that.
Mm-hmm. You keep mentioning like you miss the valley, you miss the valley. Where did that come from? Like, where are you currently based in? Based out of?
So right now I'm all the way in Illinois.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm working over here, but it's definitely a plan to go back to the valley. I mean, that's home. The culture over there is just so different. And yeah, I mean, you travel to other places in the United States, and it's like, man, it's like there really isn't no place like the valley. It's just so unique in the best way. People hate on it. People want to get out, but uh, I don't know. It has a very, very special place in my heart.
Yeah, that was recently the hot topic in the music scene recently.
Oh man.
It's because well, I mean, it's already public, so I mean, it's not like I'm saying anything like that's like behind the scenes. But basically, we had a popular band I mean, everybody already knows. Someone say it was the band called the Blow Up Dolls. I'm not sure you heard of them.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot about them. Yeah, they've been blowing up.
So, so yeah. So basically, from my understanding, was that one of the members had left the band recently, and she was explaining how there was like a lot of bad stuff going on behind the scenes in that band, like how they were like inconsiderate of her.
Oh,
And one
okay.
thing that people like really caught on to was the fact that they were saying that they performed a couple of times in Austin, and that after that they started saying like, oh, like the Valley has nothing to offer us because like the way Austin is versus the Valley.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
just unfair to compare the Valley to a city like Austin.
yeah,
I mean, you're you're comparing like two completely different things, and you're obviously gonna get a different response in a bigger city. But
hmm
I mean, yeah, people have their complaints and stuff, but I
hmm
mean, I don't know. I personally love the Valley
yeah.
and I miss it.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Like, it's unfortunate that they said that because like they were one of our like more popular bands, and now like they're really like falling apart here. There was a
Oh
lot of like
man.
other stuff, but it's just to me it's kind of like disappointing because there has been other bands that were based on the Valley and moved to like other areas, like to Houston, for example, and they
Hmm.
never like badmouth the Valley. So like there was a way to go in it without like biting the hand that fed you.
Right. No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't really read on or listen to whatever specifically happened with that whole situation, so I can't really speak on it, but I can see why people complain on the Valley and whatever, but yeah, it has its ups and downs, but you just got to find the 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 joy
Hmm
that it has.
Yeah, it's always that's always been like my I guess like the way I see it is where people say like, well, it wasn't really coming when I was in high school where people say like, oh, there's nothing to do in the Valley. And the more I got older and started seeing stuff like, okay, there is stuff in the Valley, but you really have to find it. And it's not like a major city where you'll just bump into it easily. You like dig down there and you'll eventually find stuff.
No, yeah, for sure. And I mean, for the people that say there isn't anything to do there, I mean,
Mm,
you can be the person that starts something, you know?
exactly.
So I don't know. There's always something to do, something to start, and yeah, you gotta look for it. I think, and that's really anywhere. You can go to a big city. I lived in Austin, and there's so many things to do there,
Hmm
but I just never went out looking for it, which is something I regret. I never looked out looking for a show for band members, which is something I regret. But yeah, I mean, you just gotta get out there, really, where
hmm
it doesn't really matter where you are.
So like right now you're like your musical thing is like a solo project right now or
Yeah, so as far as the recording goes and the production, it's all me. So that's why playing live is a little difficult because you don't really have a band.
yeah, I get you.
So I mean back home in Brownsville, my friends helped me out and they were great.
Hmm
But I mean when you move out and you have to find new band members and it's just difficult because the guys I played with, you already have that chemistry. You already know
hmm
each other and how you guys get along when it comes to playing together, you know?
Yeah.
So finding that all over again is like is it's like trying to find someone to date,
hmm
basically.
Yeah, so you're trying to like catch the lightning in the bottle again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. And I've kind of convinced myself to just like say, you know what, screw it. I don't want to look for anyone else. I'll just do like solo shows and with backing tracks somehow figure it out. But I mean, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to do something like that. And it's difficult because it requires gear and gear is expensive.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And how did you? Oh, out of curiosity, how did you end up in Illinois? 'Cause that's pretty far. Like, it's one thing like moving to like a bigger city in Texas, but it's a whole thing to like move like really far from the Texas itself.
Yeah, yeah. So I can't get too specific about it, but I basically got a job here.
Hmm
And so that's why I'm over here now. but hopefully in I really don't know, maybe 2 years, which sounds like a long time.
Yeah.
I'll be able to go back to Texas, which is a goal of mine.
It sounds like you're working for the government or something.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I'm in the Illuminati.
Yeah, you can talk about it. And you mentioned that you're thinking about having a show, I guess, you mentioned in June, right?
Yeah, in June. It'd be I plan to go back to the Valley and for the summer. So, I mean, what better time to play a show than in the summer?
Where would you want to have it?
Good question. So it's interesting because I'm from Brownsville, but I've never played a show in Brownsville. Actually, I hate to say it, but Brownsville is the city that let me down as far as live performance.
What do you mean?
I was supposed to play a show there for a festival, and I really can't remember the name of the festival or who was putting on the show.
Was it the Dank one or no?
No, not the Dank one. But I was supposed to play a show, and eventually we were told we were going to play on a stage outside. So we went to the show and we started like setting up or whatever. And last minute they tell us, no, you're playing inside this bar on like the corner of the bar.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, whoa, well, like even if we wanted to, we can't fit. Like we have all these keyboards and bass amps, guitars, drums. We can't fit in there. So it was this whole mess. And me and my friends were like, you know what? They're not respecting us. We're not going to play for them. Let's just get out. So we left and we didn't play. So I've never played in Brownsville before. I've only played in McAllen. I played at the Gremlin. And have you heard of Bummer Shed?
Yeah. I heard of them.
Yeah.
So like a DIY spot.
Yeah. I don't know if that's in McAllen or far. I don't know.
It's considered Mission.
Oh, Mission. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I played there too. But yeah. Oh, and Tropicasa. I don't know if you've heard of Tropicasa.
Yeah, I've been there, I believe, once for an interview.
Yeah,
or at least around there, at least around that area.
Yeah, so I played at those places, and it was great, man. I mean, I met some super cool dudes. Great. I don't know. Hospitality. They were good and professional about everything, which was always makes everything easier because going into a show you just want to worry about performing.
Yeah.
So having like good hospitality and just good people around always makes everything so much easier.
Yeah, I think I kind of noticed that where different artists told me like usually when they're starting off, their hometown doesn't like really support them. But it just so happens that the moment like other places start like supporting you and like showing you love, and that's when your hometown's like, oh, okay, never mind, let's promote this guy.
Yeah, because now you start bringing business in.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. Like I started like getting into like the music business, and I started seeing like bits and pieces of it, and it kind of bothers me at times because like I love shows and going to them, but then like as a promoter, you see like the behind the scenes, and kind of like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It sucks, but I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like everything is a business.
Yeah.
And people are trying to get something out of it, whether it's selling tickets, money, I don't know, a promo or whatever. I've never charged to play shows. I just like playing because I like playing. It's fun. And seeing the reaction from people is also great. But yeah, it's some people can be I don't want to say stingy because obviously everyone wants to make a little bit of money. But but yeah, I definitely get you.
Yeah, to me it just becomes like an issue where like again, no offense to like people who do this, but like sometimes they keep like asking for shows, and I'm telling them like, hey, I'll contact you. Like if I have something coming up, I'll let you know. And they're like constantly like messaging me. I'm like, guys, calm down. I appreciate their enthusiasm and like they want to do shows because I mean, obviously, as a band, if you have that drive, that's great.
Yeah.
But if I don't have anything, like I won't contact you. Like unless like I know it's because I was looking to the lineups. Like okay, like will this band fit in? Will this band fit in? And then I
Yeah.
slowly like make my ideas, and then I'll contact the bands. Like, hey, I think you would fit in this. Do you want to get on?
Mhm.
And well, you know, that's usually how I set up shows. And again, some
No,
bands are
yeah.
some bands are a little too enthusiastic, and it kind of like
Yeah.
But I mean, I
And I
appreciate that.
mean,
Go
yeah,
on.
and I mean, like from the artist point of view, I completely get them because you just wanna you just wanna go out there and put yourself out there, you know, and I don't know, put your name out there.
Mhm.
But I can definitely see how it's it's annoying and stressful for promoters.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of appreciate that. Versus, this is another thing. Like I started like seeing this where like certain people will only like be around you when you have something to offer,
Yeah.
and the moment
Mhm.
that you don't have anything, like they stop talking to you. And I'm just like, okay, it's unfortunate again, but that's how some people are, and it really like rubs me the wrong way. And whenever they ask for shows, I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't want to work with you. Like, even if they're a
Mhm.
great band, I don't care. Like it's just icky, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you, man. I mean, that's just life, whether it's in the music business or life in general.
Mm-hmm.
People, yeah, they'll just, they're there to see what they can get out of you, which is something I've heard of. Los Angeles is like that a lot.
I could imagine. Oh, there's probably like much worse than here.
Oh, yeah. So toxic over there, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. And what's been your experience over there in Illinois? Like I know you can mention a lot, but like I was very curious on like the cultural difference because people mention like the cultural difference between being in the valley and being somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like can you get like, a little bit deeper into that?
Yeah. So, Illinois, man. Not a lot of Hispanics or
Okay.
Mexicans. And I feel like in the valley, we all have this kind of like, I don't know, this way of joking around, you know,
Yeah.
that they don't have here. I don't want to speak badly on people, but people around here can be a little more dry, a little more serious, boring. I don't want to say boring, but boring.
I know that you're like, oh, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but you're boring.
Yeah. No, they're just different, and you kind of have to play into that and
Mhm.
like hide away your Hispanic side until you go back to the valley and you just let it loose again. But yeah, it's just different. I mean, obviously culture is completely different because over there in the valley it's a lot of Mexicans, you know, and like
Mhm.
my parents in my house over there, we only speak Spanish, and we just get along completely different, my parents and I, my family, my friends, than I do with the people that I have here, you know.
Mhm.
It's a different kind of lifestyle that they have here. I mean, people here eat dinner at like 5, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Over there, I would eat dinner at like 9, 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So it's just little things like that that you start noticing and you're like, man, I kind of miss it. And the food, the food over there in the valley is top tier.
Mhm.
Top tier. Over here, I mean, I try Mexican restaurants and just disappointed.
What kind of food do they excel at over there then?
I mean, they got a little bit of everything. They got like a Korean place close
Mhm.
by where I'm at, stuff like that. Not a lot of what I do notice though, there's not a lot of small business restaurants, you know? Like
Yeah.
over there's a bunch of taquerias and whatnot, which I love that. I love that
Mhm.
because it's like it all has its own little flavor. And like, oh, I love this taqueria because of this, the sauce they have. Or I love this
Mhm.
one because of the way they make these types of tacos, stuff like that. But they don't really have a lot of variety here on that, is what I've been noticing.
Yeah, it's kind of, I never thought about that before.
Hmm. Yeah.
Dang. I mean, well, hopefully you'll get your opportunity in the summer.
Oh yeah, no. What?
Because there were some bands who like they travel around from. Well, most of the bands I work with, they're like from Southern California, so it's a lot of Mexicans as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
like after a while, they're like, oh my god, like I don't know any names, but like they're like, oh yeah, like most of the areas they perform more or like really like white dominated areas, and then
Mm-hmm.
once they came to the valley, it's like, oh, there's a bunch of us here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I feel that. And it's funny because I'll be walking around or whatever. Or I like to play soccer too. So
Yeah.
I'll go to like a soccer game and I'll hear people speak Spanish. I'm like, oh my God. It's like the valley. And I'll go up to them. I'm like, hey man, where are you from? And like I'll start like because it feels like, oh man, I'm back home. You know?
Yeah.
It's like a little glimpse of home, which is nice.
Where do you know? Have you asked like where they're mostly from or no?
Yeah, so I mean the people that I've met, they're all like from Honduras and
Oh,
like
that's interesting.
Michoacan and places different states in Mexico really. They usually they're over here working, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I never take down like their contact info. It's more of like hey man, what's up? Like I heard you speak Spanish. Like I speak Spanish too.
Have you met anyone from the valley over there or no? Because I know that a lot of people tend to go to Chicago. I'm not sure which city you're in, but like I know Chicago's like that's what like one of the major cities where a bunch of people from the valley go for some reason.
Yeah. No, I haven't met anyone from the valley actually. I don't think I've met anyone. Well, I've met people like Mexican people, but I don't think I know anyone around me that's like Hispanic or anything like that. I might be the only one.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But it's fun because I like it because you get to talk to them about it and you get to tell them about how good the food is, which is my favorite thing to do. I don't know, but it's fun because they'll ask you questions about your culture and then you're like, well, what about you? How do you guys do this and that or blah, blah, blah. A good example is Christmas. I don't know how you celebrate Christmas, but we're up the 24th and we wait till like midnight and open the gifts like that.
Yes.
Yeah. And here they don't. They wake up in the morning, the 25th, and they open whatever Santa Claus left, which is very new to me and I've never done.
Yeah. And then like not only that, but we celebrate Christmas to like January with the Pan de Rosco with the Dia de los Reyes. Yeah. So I mean, it keeps going on.
We just milk it. We keep going and going and going. All the recalentado.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's just there's just a lot of different cultures here, which is also nice. Eventually when I leave and go back to the valley, it's good to know that I went out and explored a little bit and came back with new experiences, you know?
Yeah. And I think one thing you notice about the valley is that it's changed. I'm not sure how long you've been away, but like it's been changing a lot. Like there's been a lot of growth, and now it's not just like Mexican restaurants, but like we have like a bunch of like Asians, Indian, like a bunch of stuff popping up, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's great. I did go to Brownsville for Christmas in December, and I saw a lot of new places in Brownsville, like a lot of new restaurants and a bunch of new like construction too. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Where have I been? No,
yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, I know some people complain about like the gentrification or whatever, like the valley, but like there's gotta be that balance between the growth and like not sticking too much to the past where there's no growth.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's good things and bad things. Like I mean, one con would be like a common complaint here is that there's been like a lot of car washes and coffee shops popping out of nowhere. And it's not just Starbucks. Like it's like a bunch of them. Like there's scooters, there's Dutch Bros, and a bunch of other stuff like constantly popping up everywhere.
Yeah, it's insane. There's a lot of coffee shops, and I mean they're good. I've been to a couple. I've been to Semilla. I think it's called that, Semilla. I don't know. And then I've been to oh my goodness, I forgot the name of this one. It's it's by the plaza where El Globo used to be at.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's gonna bother me.
I haven't been over there in a while in Brownsville.
Oh, it's Nerve Coffee
Okay,
Shop.
Nerve. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
aren't those some of those locals or no?
yeah, those are both of those are local, and I mean, they're good.
Hmm.
That's good coffee. I mean, I'm not a picky person, so if it tastes
Yeah.
good, it's good.
Yeah, it's just that some of these shops are like corporate ones, and that's why people are, I guess, get kind of bothered by it.
Yeah, yeah, I can see why people are bothered a bunch of corporate stuff, but
Yeah. Like you'll
yeah,
see, like literally, you'll see three Starbucks not too far, like maybe like a mile away from each other in the same like area.
yeah, oh, man, Starbucks is just monopolizing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been crazy, but I mean, it's fun seeing the growth. And I mean, I
Hmm.
have always had high hopes for the Valley since I was in high school, because again, people always like, oh, there's nothing going on here, and sometimes I would get like mad because there was this particular person who was like, oh, like if I don't leave the Valley and they go to Austin, like I would consider myself a failure. And I kind
Oh
of like,
my
what?
god.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm just kind of like, what? Like, what? Like, to me, it always bothered me. Like, if you have so much complaints, why not build something out of it rather than just saying like dismissing something and just leaving? Because this is what causes like the what's called the brain drain. And it's something,
Okay.
yeah, it's something that UTRGB's been trying to like stop, or like, hey, stop. Like, instead of just getting educated here in the Valley and then taking off, I know they're making like grants or scholarships where they'll pay for your stuff. Like, let's say for the medical school, and then you stay in
Oh,
the Valley for a couple of years, and then later on you can leave. But like for the meantime, you stay here, you'll get everything paid for, and then the tenant stays here in the
wow.
Valley.
That is very interesting. I'd never heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think to some extent it is okay to go out and explore,
Mm-hmm.
but I just don't like when people leave um, with a sort of grudge towards the
Yeah.
valley, you know? Whether it be artists that are like, man, there's not a scene here, like, there's no venues for me to play at, or blah, blah, blah. People don't like my genre in the valley, blah, blah, blah. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go to Austin. And then you go to Austin, you try it out, and you don't succeed there either. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you're just never going to get satisfied. Um, but I don't know. I think it's good to go out and explore, but
Mm-hmm.
don't crap on the place.
Yeah, no, yeah. I never discourage traveling, because I think it's a great thing to get like different experiences and then bring that to the Valley. Because
Hmm.
there's been this thing called, like, I think people say like, oh, like the Valley is like 10 or 20 years behind like other cities.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you were smart enough, I mean, you could travel to a different city, see what's like trending, and then just bring it down to the Valley and have your own twist to it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I feel like I've been subconsciously doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll look at what these places have and I'm like, man, imagine if the valley had that.
Exactly.
And one of the things I noticed is like having a really good venue, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like a good venue with like good audio, good acoustics, stuff like that, that anyone can play at, not just these touring acts, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I find it a little bit not annoying when people will only accept touring acts, but you know, it's like, I'm pretty sure local people can sound just as great live.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think, man, if the Valley had multiple like top-notch venues, that'd be great with
Yeah,
lighting and everything.
I think that's what's been happening a little bit, like to a certain extent, is where a lot of these venues like the Gremlin or the Flying Walrus, they've been having open mics, and it's professional sound, lighting, and stuff, and
Hmm.
you get your opportunity to perform, no matter what kind of band, poet, comedian, whatever you're doing. You can go on
Yeah,
stage and have your spotlight.
yeah, for sure. And the Gremlin, man, they have great audio.
Mm-hmm.
They have great audio, or like, yeah, they have like a great setup. I mean, if you have your own audio person show up and mix for you, I mean, you've got a recipe for a great show right there. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's just something I noticed. Like, man, if we had a couple of good venues, and I think that would, I think actually that would also encourage people to go out more to shows and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too, because that's been something I've been trying to solve. Where I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, we have some of these talented bands in the Valley, and I mean like
Hmm.
really talented bands. Why is the music scene the way it is? And the thing is, because part of it's because it's in a bubble, not in a bad way.
Mm.
Can you still hear me or no?
Yeah.
Oh shit! It's because my screen went off, and I'm like, oh shoot, something happened.
No, you're good.
And like for example, like this is something I tell people. Like one of our big bands right now is Glare.
Yeah.
These guys are traveling internationally. Nationally. Sorry, they're opening for bands like Interpol, like recently announced.
Yeah.
And if you go around the valley and ask people like, hey, like, have you heard of Glare? People are gonna be like, who's that?
Oh, yeah.
Or like, let's say another one from Brownsville is Twin Tribes. These guys are actually like, really going international. And again, if you ask people like, do you guys know who Twin Tribes is? Chances are no. Like, at least I haven't seen people like say like, oh yeah, I know who they are.
No, yeah. It's usually the people that are involved in the scene that know of all of these.
Yeah, they're gonna know who they are. Yeah.
Like if you're involved and go to shows, you know these people even by the name. It rings. It's like, oh yeah. I've heard the name before. But yeah, I mean, it's also interesting because it's a different genre in a very specific area in the United States. Like the culture is Mexican there. So you have people that are like, I don't know, stereotypes, right? They listen to banda norteñas.
Yeah, that's what like a band like Grupo Frontera, like they're really popular and everybody knows who they are.
Exactly. That's why they are known like internationally now.
yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, because that genre is very it's just heavily played in the valley. And other stuff like heavy metal or like grunge, punk rock, stuff like that isn't as popular in the valley unless you're in like the younger demographic. But yeah, I mean, I think that's why that's the case as far as people not knowing certain bands.
Yeah, and I think another like something I thought about was just I mean, you mentioned the culture and like say like Frontera, like some of them will play like, I guess like quinceañeras, weddings and all stuff. And there's this whole subsection of our culture that has music, has bands, and I don't think the music scene has really gotten into it, whether it's like on purpose or just not thinking about it. Because you think about like all of the festivals, quinceañeras, weddings, all of this stuff's like really important. A lot of people go to them. People spend a lot of money, and it would be something that maybe down the line I could see like the younger crowd maybe inviting their friends over to perform live or something.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, honestly. Or even like I don't know how you'd fit it in, but you know how like at a quinceañera during the dinner or whatever, they're playing music in the background. Like play a song there. Like people aren't gonna say anything. It's just a song. They probably won't even notice it's someone's local,
Yeah.
But something like that would be pretty dope. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know like one thing is common, like where you hire a live band for a couple of hours and then you put on a DJ.
Yeah, that'd be cool for sure.
And out of curiosity, what made you actually get into music? Because it's one thing, like I always tell people this, like it's one thing listening to music, saying like, oh man, maybe I should do some music someday. But then actually actively getting into making music and then making good music. Because I listened to some of your songs and like it's stuff you could hear on the radio for sure.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, so I started when I was very, very young. I've been a musician my whole life, and I come from a family of musicians. So my mom's side of the family, bunch of musicians, like type norteñas and corridos type stuff.
Yeah.
And my dad's side of the family, also bunch of musicians. My grandpa was a great singer, and he'd also play the guitar a lot. And anyway, all that to say, I come from a family of musicians, so I've been surrounded by it all my life. And at 2 years old, that's when I got my first drum set, and I started playing drums. And that's how it started. I started playing drums, and after that, I joined band in school, learned how to read music, learned a little more about everything, and then my brother had a piano. I started playing the piano there. He also had a guitar, and I started playing the guitar there. And I mean, yeah, it wasn't until I heard that song, Let It Happen, where I was like, wait, it'd be interesting to try and make something on my own. So that's when I started getting more into like the production side, which is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Playing an instrument and being a producer is two completely different things. I feel, and yeah, I mean, I still consider myself very new at it and learning because it's difficult.
Hmm.
It's difficult to have the ear for it and to not get annoyed, but it's also very very fun. Very fun.
What keeps you going? Because you mentioned that it gets very difficult. Sometimes very annoying. What kind of like what keeps you like what keeps that drive going?
Yeah, so I just it's like it's like an old married couple. Like
Hmm.
they're kind of like bickering at each other and they're fighting, but deep down they love each other, you know?
It's a pretty good
It's
way to put it.
yes, it's just like that. It's like this frustration with my computer.
Hmm.
Where I'm like, dang it, I want to make this sound good and I'm spending all this time and money and I'm still not getting anywhere and I'm not where I want to be musically or whatever, but and then you make this demo and it just reignites this fire of passion that you had for it, for like that you felt for it in the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
And it just makes you want to keep going and going, like, man, this sounds good. Now I want to try and make another one, or wow, like let me add this. And it's just a cycle. And that keeps me going. And also uh, the relationships that I've made
Hmm.
because of music. I mean, I don't know. It's some of the closest friends that I've ever made, that I've ever had, and I still have, which is just, it's great.
Hmm. No, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, like I'm really a numbers guy because I mean I know you shouldn't when it comes to like art,
Hmm.
but I mean when I first saw like your Spotify monthly listeners, I'm like, oh shit, this guy has a lot, quite a few, quite a few people listening to your music.
Yeah.
How did you build that? Because I mean, you obviously done production. I mean, when you're a musician, especially a solo artist, you're doing multiple things. You're doing your production, like you mentioned. You're a musician, singer, but then you also need to be like actively promoting your music because no one else is gonna do it for you. No one's gonna have that drive.
Right.
What kind of strategies did you use to like promote your music? Because I mean, from what I'm seeing, the fact that you kept it consistently like 2K plus, that's great.
Hmm. Yeah. So, when I first started, I was researching like, man, what can I do? What can I do to get these numbers?
Hmm.
And it, it's a combination of a lot of things, but now I don't really care to promote my stuff
Hmm.
or do anything. I really try not to worry about numbers. I'm just like, I'm going to put it out there. And if people like it, they like it. And that's cool because
Hmm.
what I like doing is music. I don't like doing promo video ads or editing videos or photo shoots or graphic design. I don't like doing any of that. I'm not good at
Hmm.
it. I barely think I'm good at music. So, um, so yeah, I don't worry about that. But what I did to get to that number specifically to answer your question was I basically just went to Spotify and I looked up a bunch of playlists that have a similar genre to me. And I reached out to those people on Instagram and was like, hey man, I make similar music to this. Give it a listen and I'd appreciate it if you do enjoy it, if you'd add it to the playlist. And this one guy, I wish I remember his name. I don't know if
Hmm.
he still follows me on Instagram or not, but he, I owe him my royalties. Not really.
Oh, okay. I'm like, oh shit, this guy already
I'm kidding.
gave up everything.
No. But he is a big reason why I have the numbers I have. He
Yeah.
has a big playlist, and because he adds my music to his playlists, I get the numbers that I get, which is I'm just yeah grateful for him believing in me and listening to my stuff throughout the years.
No, yeah, definitely. I would. Yeah, I would pay that person because I mean it's good numbers and again it's one thing getting the boost, but keeping it. I mean it shows that there's something with your music that people really enjoy and they kept the music on a playlist, not stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going back to the other question you had, like what keeps me going.
Hmm.
People will listen or find my stuff through the playlists and stuff, and I'll get messages on Instagram like, "Dude, this is so good! Like, please don't stop." Right when I'm thinking like, you know what, I'm gonna stop, I get a message that says, "Please don't stop." And I don't know that I'll open the message and it just makes my day. I'm like, man, someone out there really enjoys this.
Mhm.
And if that's the last person that listens, if that's the only person that'll ever listen to my music, man, I'll do it for you.
That's nice. And out of curiosity, which song have you been like most proud of recently? Like looking back, because you have quite a bit of songs. Because I mean, you had your latest release, which is "In Your Lives,"
Mhm.
and then your music goes all the way back to 2020, which was it's kind of crazy, but like it's been 4 years since 2020.
Yeah, it is crazy. Man, let me look back. I already forgot the songs I released. Man, okay, yeah, In Your Lies, Sandcastle, and then the EP. Um, oof. I have to say this is an underrated one, a
Mm.
very underrated one. But I'm really happy with Friends. It's yeah, the song's called Friends. And I don't know. I just think about the time that I made it.
Hmm.
I'm just proud for coming up with something like that at that specific time, you know?
Ooh, like what about it were you proud of?
Just the layers that I had percussion wise, and it was one of the first songs where I actually used guitar because a bunch
Hmm.
of it is just synthesizers, my other songs. So this one I did use guitar. I did do a lot of like ear candy effects things,
Hmm.
and I used acoustic drums too. I recorded my own drums on top of drum samples. So I don't know. It was just a combination of a lot of things that I was proud of myself. I was like, man, I actually pulled it off and it's not half bad. So that one's really good. I'm really proud of it. But uh that one production wise I'm really proud of. But I'm also really proud of Now You're Just a Memory.
Hmm. Which
I
is
think that one
which is like
sounds
your
so
biggest hit right
good.
now, right?
Yeah, that one is the biggest one, just shy of 40,000 streams.
Hmm. Why do you think that song became like your most popular or most well listened song?
Um I think because it's just easy to listen to.
Hmm.
It's nothing complicated. It's a simple drum beat, a simple bass, and a simple chord progression with nothing crazy going on, with just me singing about a breakup. So I think it's just easy to listen to. And um, also shout out to Creative Cave Recording Studio, Adrian.
Hmm.
He mixed and mastered this song, and he gave it a new life. Because I was recently listening to my own mix and master,
Hmm.
compared it to his. I was like, man, my song would not have been doing this good if it wasn't for him. So yeah, a combination of what I did and he did, just
Hmm.
I think is what gave me these results.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
I often get curious about that because how can production get better? Because I remember hearing the story about Kanye West where he was trying to beat Justin Timberlake and Timberland, and like
Oh,
for the
okay.
longest time he was trying to kind of like I think it's when I forgot what song he was making. I think it was Stronger. I think that's the name of the song.
Oh
And for the
yeah.
longest time he was trying to beat them, and he would like go to different producers and he couldn't quite get it right. Like sometimes like it would play like muddy. Like he mentioned the word muddy in the club, but then
Oh,
once he brought it to like Timberland, he like fixed up the song within like a couple of minutes, and like he's like, you're not gonna get this anywhere else. And so I get curious, like, how do like producers have that like I guess instinct or power or talent? How do you make a song sound better?
man. I mean, it all varies. It all depends on who you go to. You can go to so many different people and they've all experienced and done so many different things that you're going to get a different result, you
Hmm.
know? So like I don't know, you can go to like a rap producer
Yeah.
and then you can go to a pop producer and you'll get two completely different things because they're used to making two completely different sounds, you know?
Hmm.
But as far as what sounds quote unquote good, I mean, that's just up to the person. That's just subjective, you know. Something that sounds really, really bad to me can be something great to you, can be perfect to you. I can listen to something and be like, nope, I want to change all of this. But for you, you can listen to it and be like, this is perfect. Don't change a thing, release it. It's great, you know?
Yeah.
So it all just depends, really. But it is interesting going to different producers and different artists. I haven't worked with a lot of people, but I remember I did work with this band. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. If you haven't, you should listen to them. They are great. They're from the Valley. They're called Boys, Boiz.
Yeah, they're from Brownsville, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
they are from Brownsville. They invited me over to one of their recording sessions, and after that recording session, I was blown away. I was like, "Oh my goodness, these guys make everything sound good." Like, and it's just good because it puts you in another headspace, in their headspace, you know, and it just expands what you think. It expands what your perception of good is, you know.
Oh, like I've been wanting to catch them perform because Adrian would tell me about them.
Okay,
So I
yeah,
always
yeah.
ask like, okay, like what band should I interview? And he mentioned like, hey, you should check out this band. And I've been trying. I forgot what like our last conversation was like, but like I always hear like great stuff about them. So I mean, hopefully down the
Oh
line
man,
I'll be able to catch them live or something.
no, yeah, they are great guys. They're great people, and they're great musicians, great producers. They're just they're really good people, and yeah, Adrian did such a good job mixing their EP. That is that is my favorite EP in the Valley. Like from people in the Valley, it's just so well produced and just super. It's just great, man. It's
Dang.
I've been listening to it nonstop this past week. I texted the singer from the band. I was like, dude, I'm listening to one of your songs right now, and it's like, wow.
I need to go check it out because sometimes I
Yeah.
get busy and I always try to like listen to like new releases from the Valley. But sometimes it gets overwhelming because you're dealing with live work. I mean, I'm doing these shows and like it's just your time becomes very limited. So sometimes
No,
like I
yeah,
don't get to
for
listen to
sure.
I don't get to listen to everything that like comes out, which is unfortunate. Like
Yeah.
I wish I had more time. But
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of people in the Valley, so
yeah,
so,
yeah,
I get you.
yeah. And what are your actual goals with your music? Because I mean, it's you mentioned like no matter how many people are listening to your music, you're still gonna do it. It keeps you driven. But like, what are you actually trying to like do with your music?
Well, I mean, it's everyone's dream to make it, you know, and I'd be lying if I said like I didn't want that.
Yeah.
But I'm taking it very, very, very slow. I am I'm working right now. I'm trying to establish some sort of safety net for myself. And once I feel like I'm set to go full throttle on this, then that's when I'm just gonna go all in and eventually try and see how far it takes me. You know, whether it be playing festivals or I don't know, doing more promo, which is something I know I need to do if I want to get more numbers.
Especially with TikTok right now. Like right now, it's like prime time because obviously that platform itself is really good. Like really, really, really good. Honestly, it's like the best discovery platform. But
It
right
really
now,
is.
yeah, right now UMG like Universal Music Group, whatever, they removed a lot of like their music. So like a bunch of indie artists right now or independent artists are like they start promoting their music right now because we're not competing against the big ones right now.
Yeah, I saw that. They just blocked or did something with Taylor Swift.
Oh wow.
But yeah, so and the thing about me is I'm just like naturally introverted. So getting in front of a camera and talking or something like that is just so like far from what I'm used to. So I'd rather hire someone to make some sort of like video or like animated content, which I think would be super cool. But yeah, I mean, as far as goals right now, I'm just taking it slow. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still trying to perfect my craft as a producer as much as I can. And yeah, I mean, I'm still making a lot of music. It's just not released.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just giving it time to sit in to where I can say, you know what, it's ready. This one can go out, and I think
Yeah,
it's good.
I respect it a lot because I think some artists they like blow up and they keep like constantly throwing fuel to their fire, like to keep I guess going forward.
Hmm.
But then they eventually they burn out because they have all this like really fast success and they don't get to like I guess stop and enjoy it, or something goes wrong and they quickly burn out as fast as they rose.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I mean, and that is something I did when I first started. I
Mm-hmm.
uh, I rushed the hell out of making music. I would release the most crappiest sounding songs ever.
Oof.
They're not on anymore because they're crappy. But I mean I learned that the hard way. I put crap out, and what sucks is that the people close to you are nice. They're like, "Oh, it sounds good. It
Sounds
sounds
good. Yeah.
good." And then like weeks go by or months go by, and you go back and listen to it. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is not good."
Yeah.
So you delete it, and so yeah. And to be honest, I do feel like that a lot about a lot of the songs that are out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like other people enjoy them. I'm not gonna remove them. I just won't listen to them anymore, and I'll let them live in the internet.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if people are still listening to it, I mean, obviously something was accomplished.
Right, right. So it would be selfish of me to just delete my music because I don't like it.
Yeah. I think that's like a really like mature like way of thinking, because I think some people just like start pulling off everything, and
Hmm.
I've been doing that recently with some of my interviews where I kind of look at it and sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could have done better, and I want to pull it, but obviously like it's not just me anymore. Like it's not just me as also as an interviewer, but like it's also like bands I'm promoting. So
Right.
sometimes I'm like it's staying there.
Yeah, and then the band will see you deleted their episode, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Wait."
Nah, I only deleted a couple of episodes. Like the only way or reason I would remove an episode is like if a band told me like, hey, something happened, and
Oh,
yeah, like there's been like parts or people who told me like, hey, we're no longer associated with this person. We can do another interview
oh,
down the line, and if you can pull that episode down, we would appreciate it. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, no, yeah,
yeah. That's fair. I can see that. Yeah.
yeah, that, or like if I feel the person like basically there's no way beating a bush or about it, where like I don't think they're a good person, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean it's people like I work with, and I'm like, okay, you know what, I don't want to be promoting this person, and I hate that because as a platform it should be neutral. I shouldn't be saying like, oh, I'm promoting this person, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's just the part where I get like really stuck, because as a person I think everybody should have speech, like free speech basically,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
but
For sure.
then there's also comes times where like I see certain behavior and certain like things, and I'm like, okay, I can't be associated with this, and I hate it because it goes against the, I guess like the ethics or morality I have, where I think everybody should be able to speak themselves, but then people often conflate, or at least on at least online, which I hate, or let's say you interview someone like really controversial
Mm-hmm.
in the internet, or at least with young people, they will conflate that person with you as the interviewers. But it's kind of like
Oh.
disappointing, because when it comes to like mainstream art, like interviewers, like say like someone like Barbara Walters, Larry King, whatever, if they were to interview like, and they have like let's say like a terrorist, whatever, you're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, Larry King's promoting a terrorist. No, like you're
Mm-hmm.
getting
It's
into a
just an
mind.
interview.
It's just an interview, and you're trying
Mm-hmm.
to get into the mind of that person and saying,
Yep.
okay, why are you doing the things you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
again, I
Yep.
think young people, for whatever reason, like they can't like separate the interview from the person, and it becomes like very messy.
Yeah, I can see that. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is your platform, your show. So
Hmm.
you have every right to decide what to do with it, you know, whether you want to be associated with the people or not. And I mean, whether the people take it harshly, I mean,
Hmm.
that's up to them. That's already out of your control, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you make a good point. It's something I think
Mm-hmm.
about a lot. I have the issue of like I overthink sometimes. So I'm just kind of
Oh
like,
no,
yeah.
yeah, me too, man. Don't don't worry. Yeah, I'm on the same boat.
What makes you overthink?
A lot, man. So when it comes to music, I remember playing shows,
Hmm.
and like you said, my genre is very like synth pop indie stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It is nowhere near what most of the valley is. So I'd play shows, I'd go up, do my own thing. The person that played before me is some metal band, and they're all rocking out to it, and then I play and they're all like mellowed out listening to my stuff. And I'd like to think they enjoy it. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know. And then like the headliner plays after me or whatever, and it's another metal band, and they're all jamming out to it. And then I'm watching them. I'm just like, man, did like, what am I doing here? Like,
Yeah, yeah, I feel
am
you.
I at the right show? Like, what am I doing playing to these people? You know, that just makes me overthink. Being like, did I waste my time? Or like, mostly it's mostly like, man, did I waste my friend's time, like coming all the way to McAllen, driving an hour,
Hmm.
taking time from their weekend to play this 20-minute show for people that don't like this genre, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I They don't remember that anymore, probably, you know. They don't remember like, oh my god, I remember I went to this metal show and this stupid synth pop band played, you know? They
Yeah.
don't remember that. So it's okay. I've definitely got better about it, but now that I don't play shows anymore, what I overthink a lot about now is the the music that is out right now.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh my god, is this even good? Like, should I delete it? I still think
No,
about that.
it is good. Like honestly, like I was saying earlier, like there's certain music where like I listen to like, oh shoot, this could be something mainstream or something like played on radios. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I felt about your music and the other guy, Fabian Villa, where I told him like, hey, this is like really well produced pop music.
Mm-hmm.
It might not hit
Yeah,
with the
thank you.
Valley, but like this could be like mainstream stuff that people could be listening to.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it, and I definitely do have my moments where I'm like, man, this is like, I'm proud of myself. This is good
Hmm.
stuff. And but obviously, just like anyone, there's times where you're like, this is crap.
Yeah.
but but it's just part of it, you know. With whatever kind of art you're in,
Hmm.
it's just a part of the game.
And you mentioned you're making new music. Are you continuing with the same genre, or are you gonna be doing something different, or what's your plan?
Ooh, that is a good question. Um, so I would like to try new sounds, um, more hard hitting, distorted sounds with a lot more
Hmm.
guitar. Um, but it's just like, I make a lot of demos, and they all sound so different. One of it could be like slow paced and like like chill, you know,
Hmm.
like Mac DeMarco or whatever. And then the other one that I make the next day is like something hard hitting, distorted, and like in your face kind of thing, you know? So I
Who
really
inspires
can't.
that harshness?
What inspires it?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I just really like music that is punchy and full.
Hmm.
Like that is just, it's just got a wide range of sounds that is clean and full. I've actually been listening to this band. They're not from the Valley. They are from Texas, though, I think. They're
Hmm.
called Little Image. And they've got great sounding, punchy, hard hitting songs.
Where are they from?
And I think they might be from Dallas, but they don't live in Texas anymore. I think they're in
Oh,
Nashville
okay.
now. But I saw a video of the mixing engineer that mixed one of their songs called Ego.
Hmm.
And the way just looking at the song dissected like that, instrument by instrument, kind of opened up my eyes. Like, man, like all of these layers make up this one sound that is very hard hitting and punchy and in your face and stuff like that, you know? So I'm trying to experiment a little more with layering and getting new sounds out of things you wouldn't expect. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm making it sound like I'm going to make something out of this world, but I'm really not. I try to stick to my genre.
Huh. That's interesting. Because like sometimes I get curious, like how do you make new music? Because obviously you're gonna use like different instrumental sounds, or and then how do you keep things fresh? How do you think like not get bored of making music basically?
Yeah, that's a good question actually, because I mean that was something I was asking myself recently because I was feeling very, very dry. I was like, man, I can't come up with anything. But for me, what helps is or what helped recently, I used to produce a lot on FL Studio, which for those that don't know is just a recording software on a computer. But I switched. I tried Ableton, and switching makes you do things a different way, obviously, because it's a different software.
Mm-hmm.
So doing that really helped keep things fresh, and it's just, like I said, a different way of bringing things together. So it gives you a different approach. And I mean, in result of all of that, you're just going to get a new sound, which is great. And I mean, I don't have a lot of gear on me, so I can't do much like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to buy a brand new $10,000 synthesizer, you know?
Oof. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the best I could do. Just switch software and see how that worked out for me. And it's been working out. I mean, I open up Ableton and instantly put out these little ideas, and I like them. It's great. It's been working out for me for sure. And also, not listening to music helps a lot.
Reels?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because then I start copying what I'm listening to, and it just feels like a Wish.com version of a really good song, you know?
Has that happened to you before or no?
Oh, yeah.
How do you catch yourself? Like, is it other people telling you that, or do you catch yourself because, like, when it comes to, like, for example, writing, sometimes like you could be writing something, you make mistakes, but you don't pay attention to it until you get someone else to like proofread your writings, and then people are like, oh, you made this mistake here. Where people are telling you like, oh, this sounds like this other song. Yeah.
So I've caught it's nothing that's ever been released, but I'll just catch myself because I'm so zoned in, like I'm just locked in to the session, and afterwards I'll be listening to it in my car or in my bed with my headphones on. I'm like, wait, this is literally this other song, just my version, which is funny. But I mean, it's still good though. I think it's still good practice to make it your own, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because recently there were some TikTok artists. I can't remember who it was, but this girl was like making music, and she's like getting called out because she's making similar sounding music like from hits from like 10 years ago.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I saw something about that as well.
Like she was making like a song that sounded like one of Shakira's songs, and people were kind of like, this is exactly the song, just a little bit changed.
Yeah. No, yeah. I heard something about that, and yeah, I mean, as much as I have my own like influences musically, I do want to try and use that to make my own sound, you know, which can be hard sometimes.
Has anyone told you like what are like key components of that makes your music yours? Like anything specifically?
Interesting. Wow. Not specifically. I mean, what I've heard is just this specific thing someone told me once was like, I can just imagine your music being played at a music festival, and 5 feet down from you, everyone's smoking pot, just like high. So, I mean, I guess it's chill.
Yeah.
I guess my music is chill, but yeah, I don't know. There hasn't been something specific where they're like, yeah, this makes your music good or whatever.
Yeah,
Which is
because like when you think about like
it'd be
artists,
good to know.
like when you think about artists, like let's for example, like for me, I love Aerosmith. Like you can tell it's an Aerosmith song because of the certain guitar riffs that Joe Perry does. So I was wondering,
Hmm.
like, oh, maybe it's just certain things you do that people, the moment people hear your music, like, oh, it's him.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume once they hear my voice, they know it's me.
Hmm.
Those that do listen to my music, you know. Um, but I mean, other than that, I don't. I guess the synthesizers that
Hmm.
I use and the just the layers of sounds that I put in, you know.
Yeah. How do you find synthesizers that you enjoy? Because with a synthesizer, you basically have like unlimited sounds. How do you find
Hmm.
what you like?
Um, basically, I I don't know. I just try and find something that catches my ear and
Hmm.
mess with it. I I usually like using a lot of strings, like like string sections, like
Hmm.
violins, violas, cellos, stuff like that. You know. So I'll put that, but then on top of that, that's when I start adding like crazy synthesizers. Like sometimes it'll be on your left ear, and
Hmm.
sometimes it goes to your right ear. But this stuff is very like you have to be paying attention to notice it if it's there or not, kind of thing. You know.
Hmm.
But it's just I don't know. It's just like the audio geek in me. But it's fun. I mean, there is a lot of options for synthesizers. Um, but yeah, I mean, you don't have to spend money to get a good sound. I think, and I wish I would have known that earlier.
Oh yeah, that happens. I think that happens to everybody once you start making a project, or then you realize like, oh, what you realize what you actually need, and like, oh, I could have done this much cheaper because there's stuff with the podcast that I spent money on, and it's not
Oh
like
yeah.
audio equipment's not cheap, and then I'm like, oh my god, like I didn't even need this. I could have just done this, this, and this, and it would have been a similar or a similar result, or it would have been close to what you were already doing.
No, yeah, for sure. And I noticed that as well with live equipment, like to play live shows.
Hmm.
Because for us, for like my live band, when we've played shows, we use in-ear monitors, like the little earpieces that we wear,
Hmm.
you know. So we use those. We don't like using speakers to listen back to what we're playing. We use in-ear monitors, and we have our own mix in our ears to listen to the cues of the song. We have the metronome going in the song to keep us in time in our ear,
Yeah.
and so I figured out the most complicated way of doing that. And later on, once I was done playing all the shows, I figured out, oh my goodness, I could have just bought this one piece of gear and it would have made everyone's lives easier. And man, if I would have known that, it's just like it just would have saved me a lot of time and money. But
Hmm.
it's just one of those things like, you know what, you learn and now you know. Now you know and you can make it better and you can help someone else out and
Hmm.
telling them about that, you know.
What was that thing that you realized that it could have saved people time?
Like specifically for me with the live,
Yeah, you mentioned that you found out something could have made things much easier for everyone.
yeah. So one thing was the in-ear monitors. I was using a mixer, a regular Yamaha mixer, and plugging
Hmm.
in all our headphones through the aux send, and basically just tweaking our mix through the mixer like that. But I
Hmm.
found out I could have bought a different mixer that you can adjust everything through your phone, and it makes it so much easier. I don't know how to explain it, but it's Bluetooth. And the less cables you can have on a stage, the better,
Hmm.
100%. And so yeah, it was that for sure. And another thing is, in the valley, when it comes to shows, a lot of the times they won't mic up the drums, and if they do, they probably aren't going to sound great.
Hmm.
So I figured out like, or no, I found this these like drum triggers, these drum heads that they have drum triggers, and I just was like, wow, I wish I had that, because you hit the drum
Mm-hmm.
and it comes out through the speaker sounding like a super crisp sample, you know?
Oh
But it's
wow.
still live. It's still live. You're just not using microphones.
Mm-hmm.
You're using drum triggers. That way the microphones don't pick up all of the stage bleed from your cymbals or whatever. You're just hitting the drum, and what comes out of the speakers is exactly a drum sound that you want, you know?
It's very interesting
So,
because I always love hearing about like the technology going on behind music. Because again, I don't perform, so like a lot of this stuff I
mhm.
don't even know what's going on behind. I just see people playing instruments, obviously. So like the technology side like really fascinates me.
Yeah, I mean, me too. Me too, and I'm still learning, and it's great and it's fun, and I mean, for for a for a genre like mine, it's impossible to play every
Mm-hmm.
instrument live with just four people. So we used backing tracks too. Whatever we weren't playing live, we just put backing tracks. So figuring out how to do that is also interesting, and there's always different ways of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just learning all of that is really good to know for future reference. So hopefully, if all goes well in June, um, I hope I'll be able to put on a good show.
Mm-hmm.
But we will see.
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
Oh yeah, I
yes.
would love to see the. Yeah, because when you're talking about that stuff, it reminded me of a band called I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it's Rue or
Mhm.
Rao. It's Raue. It's kind of like a
Raue. Okay.
yeah, they're from California, and
Okay.
it's a two-piece band. It's a girl. It's kind of like modern grunge,
Mm,
and I think it's either her friend or her brother. I don't know, but it's a two-piece band, grunge sounding. But then they use like these triggers by pressing buttons. It helps fill in like I guess the rest of the music.
yeah.
So stuff like that was like really interesting. And then you mentioned that, so I'm like, okay, the backing track. Sorry,
Yeah.
they press like certain pedals and like it activates the backing track, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
hmm Yeah. And I mean, the truth is, every major touring act is using backing tracks. Taylor
Mhm.
Swift is using backing tracks.
Yeah.
um, every top show that I go to, that I look at, majority of the time they're using backing tracks, and it's just normal now. But as long as you don't rely on them 100% and you still keep that live
hmm
ambience to your show, I think it's good. Um, I mean, but yeah, like I said, for music like mine, where you need like 10 synthesizers on stage to
Yeah, it's
do
it's
your thing,
impractical.
yeah, you need you need backing tracks. I only have one keys player, and he's already playing two of them at the same time.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also when you're bringing up that point of like making sure you don't lose that live aspect,
hmm
it reminded me. Because sometimes I get on Facebook and I see like people complaining about Motley Crue because they were using a lot of backing tracks that were like
hmm
replacing the singer and I think someone else. I can't remember who what, but like people are saying like, oh,
Oh.
it's getting rid of the live aspect because again, I think his name is Vince Neil or whatever his name is. I know it's Vince.
hmm
The singer, like his voice is not what it was before.
Ah,
And
yeah.
some people could be like, why am I paying like 200, $500 for a ticket and I'm not getting like the actual live experience?
Yeah, they're just playing the song from Spotify through the speakers.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, one thing I'm completely against when it comes to backing tracks is I'm not the best singer,
hmm
but I will never put like backing vocals, you know? Like, I'll keep that live. Like, if it's bad, if it's good, doesn't
hmm
matter. I'll stay true to that.
how does that work
What do you mean? What?
when you're having a backing track? Because obviously some parts you can sing yourself and in some parts of the backing track, or do you just
Oh,
lip
okay,
sync it, or
okay.
how does that work? Because I don't know
So
anything about that.
yeah, so basically, when you finish a song, you send every individual instrument to get mixed into it's they glue it together to make the
hmm
entire song, you know?
Yeah.
So basically, I take all of those instruments, I'll listen to it, I'll listen to the bass and be like, okay, I have a bass player, he's playing that part, I'm gonna remove that. So now that you take the bass off of the song, you take the drums off of the song, because you have a bass and a drummer, a bassist and a drummer, you know?
hmm
So now imagine my song without a drummer and a bass and a singer, just like the keys, some sort of keys in the back, you know?
Yeah.
That's the backing track. Whatever instrument is not being played is in the backing track, if that makes sense. So it's not like I'm just playing the entire song while we're performing it, you know? I'm just playing a certain instrument to help make us sound fuller, you know? So yeah, I'm definitely not just playing Spotify behind us while we play. That'd be insane. That'd sound horrible.
Yeah, so like stuff like that happens. I'm like, damn, that's disappointing. But I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, artists get older and their voices don't always stay the same as back then.
Yeah, and I mean, I would love to get enough band members to just cut the tracks, cut the tracks and just let it be us. But yeah, I need like 2 extra members minimum.
And then to like space everybody out, and then payment will become an issue too, because now you have a lot of more. You have like what, 6 band members, or how many would you have in total?
Yeah, I'd have 6. 6.
And then
then you'd have to get more gear for them to play.
Yeah.
It's a lot of technical things. So more gear, more space for inputs on the mixer to play live.
The stage itself. Yep, correct. It's just a lot, and I'm fine with the guys that I have right now. I mean, we have good chemistry. They understand how to play and everything, so it just works out great. How do you find people with good chemistry? Like, what do you look for in people? Because again, there's a whole mixed thing of whether it be friendships, just band members you're playing with. Like, how do you like find the right people, and how do you know they are like the right ones?
Everyone has a different style of playing, but when they can set that pride aside and play the music that you're all collectively playing, like when they can purely play that type of music without adding too much of their own bits and pieces, that's always a good sign for me. When I'm like, man, this guy is such a good musician. He can go off. He can do a solo on the guitar or whatever. Or like, for example, my music, the drums are the easiest drum beats to play. And when the drummer is just staying on that groove and not going off with these crazy chops, I'm like, you know what, man, you're great. Like, I can respect you, and like, you respect the music so much that we just get along well. So when the drummer stays true to the song, it's easier for the bass player to get locked in the groove with the drummer. And that's already a good foundation. And then the keys player just has to stay on his own thing, you know? And when you do all that, you kind of build this trust with each other musically, where it's like, you know what? I know these guys are going to take me through this journey, and we're all going to get through it. And just, it's going to be good, you know? Because I know that they're true to this moment, you know? Any other time they can jam out and whatever, but right now they are just true and sticking to it. I don't know if that kind of answers it, but it's kind of an in the moment feeling that you get.
Yeah, because I was getting curious about all of that stuff, like how it works. Because again, it's a different dynamic. You just having friends you talk with, hang out with, and then one thing being a completely like being a unit and then performing live.
Yeah, and that takes time. I mean, you're not just instantly gonna get super comfortable and click with these random musicians, you know? It's it takes time. Like, you can be jamming and not a single word would be said, but you know exactly where everything is going and how it's gonna end up. If that makes sense. It's so weird, but somehow everyone's just like connected. It's kind of amazing, honestly. It's such like an, I don't know, it's such like an intimate cool experience to play with a lot of people and knowing that it's all going well.
Oh, and another question I had about you was you mentioned you're an introvert. How do you perform live? Like, if you're having that introvert like part of you and then performing on stage, how do you like balance that off? Is there like a switch? Because people often tell me or these bands to like, oh, like the way I am in person, but like the moment I get on stage, there's like this kind of switch, and
Yeah, the
they're
alter ego.
yeah, the alter ego.
Yeah, man. I don't have an alter ego. The way I am right now on this podcast interview is the way I am on stage.
Mhm.
I'm not. I don't know. I can't switch a different persona on. It's different for me, and I don't know. It's just not me. So I'll go up on stage. I'm just doing my own thing, and I'll be like, "What's up, guys? It's us. This is this song. We hope you enjoy it." And then we just play, and we'll end the song, and I'm like, "Thank you." It kind of sucks because I wish I wasn't that dry, but it's like I don't know what else to say, man. I'm just here to play music.
Yeah, but how
But
do you like how do you fight like the nerves or being shy?
well,
Because you mentioned again.
the thing is, I may be introverted, but I'm not shy at all to get up and perform.
Oh, okay.
Like I love it. I love it so much. It's so fun. I could give a crap if someone yells out that I suck
Mhm.
because I'm having fun, man. Like this is my thing. But um, I'm when I say I'm introverted, I mean like I'd rather not talk to anyone if I don't have to. But if I have to, I will.
Mhm.
I'm not a shy person or anything like that. I'm more of an observer. But no, yeah, whenever I get the chance to play live, oh yeah, there's no nerves at all. I'm just excited.
Mhm. Oh, okay, yeah. Because sometimes the being introverted and shy get conflated, and sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Because
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I can imagine it's a scary thing for someone who hates crowds.
yeah, like, yeah, exactly. It's like the worst thing you would want. Like if you're not trying to seek attention, and then to put you right on the stage in front of everybody,
Yeah.
it'll be
Yeah,
horrifying.
it's pretty daunting. I mean, people are all staring at you sing.
Yeah,
It's yeah, it's like wow.
yeah.
Everyone is judging me at this very moment.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean that's you know you're putting yourself on the line like that, so it's all good.
Yeah, 'cause I think I have a similar thing, or at least a reverse situation where people think I'm super social and I'll talk with everybody, but
Mm,
because of the podcast,
mm-hmm.
and and then they see me in person, I'm like, oh hi, and like it's like very short, like small talk. And
Oh, okay.
it's not that like I'm trying to be mean or like I don't want to talk with you. And again, it
Uh-huh.
doesn't help because like in person, like I look mean or like intimidating. I got
Oh
this
man.
quite a bit. Like for the people who've been like listening to the podcast, like I used to work at Home Depot, and um, a manager legit went outside and told me like, hey, like you need to be appearing more approachable because one of the customers was complaining saying like, oh, that I was mad that I was helping them out. I'm like, I wasn't mad, like I was just helping out. That's it. But I guess like the facial reactions, whatever, like they thought I was mad. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm
I
like, damn.
get you.
So like there's like the intimidating factor. I'm kind of tall, kind of big. And then
Oh, okay.
yeah, and then they see me like not talking that much, and I think like, oh, this guy's pissed off. And again, no, like you talk to me, I'll talk to you and everything, but like
No, yeah.
I mostly observe people.
Uh-huh. No, I get you completely. I'm the same way. I mean, I'm not walking around with the biggest smile in the world, you know. So it's easy for people to just kind of be like, "Oh crap, he's upset. Let me not
Yeah.
talk to him." But no, man, I mean, I don't know. I try and be easy to talk to.
Hmm.
And after the shows, I mean, people go up to me and we talk and they're like, "Oh, good stuff, man. Y'all sounded great." I'm like, "Thanks, man."
Hmm.
We'll talk and chit chat for a bit, but I mean, usually when it comes to playing a show, it won't last too long because we're busy setting up or tearing down and stuff like
Hmm.
that, you know. But but yeah, I can definitely see the the troubles of an introvert.
And out of curiosity, what have been like some of your best experiences performing live?
Um um you know what? I think my my first show ever was very special.
Hmm.
Um my family's always been and they still are very very supportive. They were all there.
Oh wow.
And it's kind of funny cuz it's like a it's it was at the Gremlin. Yeah, at the Gremlin. So it's like a bunch of younger dudes and everything. And then my parents are like the oldest people in the.
Yeah.
But I mean, I loved it, man. I love it. I mean, I could say my parents were there and supporting me and proud of me, and my dad, classic, with the camera, just recording me. So it was great. Um, it was my first time ever playing live. So the fact that we did it and we got through it and everything was somewhat okay. We did have some troubles with the guy who was mixing our stuff, but aside from that, it was a good accomplishment to get the first one done, and just to look forward to the other ones.
Mm-hmm. And no, that's great to hear, honestly, because I mean, sometimes not everybody gets that privilege of like having your family be supportive. Sometimes they don't like.
Yeah,
they could be like, instead of they're unsupportive, like they could just not understand like what's going on, and they're like, oh, whatever. And there's a couple of people where, yeah.
No, yeah, I get you for sure, and that's something I'm super super grateful for. Like my dad is my biggest fan and supporter. He I made stickers, and as soon as I got them in the mail, I was like, "Oh, can I have one?" I gave it to him, and he put it in the back of his truck. So he's promoting me everywhere he drives.
That's badass.
And I made shirts too, like 2 years ago, and he wanted one. I was like, "Yeah, sure, you can have one." And he wears it everywhere we go, and yeah, I don't know. He's a super supportive, and I'm very, very, very grateful for that. And so is my mom. And yeah, I mean, they put up with me when I lived there in the house with my loud speakers and all the noise that I was making. They put up with me throughout the years. So I'm definitely grateful that I had parents who were very supportive as far as like artsy stuff go. Because usually, especially with Hispanics, it's like, no, study, get your degree, this. You gotta be a nurse, you gotta be a lawyer. And they definitely are like that, but they're also very supportive of like my passions and what my brothers are passionate about as well, which is great.
Yeah, and I think it helps that you guys had that musical background, because that probably made it a lot easier.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, because like when my family, at least when my father was in the picture, he was like never supportive of it. Like he was constantly, because I was like in high school marching band, and he was constantly against it. And he was always trying to like get me out of it. I'm like, no, like I love this. Like it's the passion. I get to meet new people, hang out, talk. And again, it's part of like going out as a high schooler, because I'm from a small town. So like football is like the main thing, like when you're a high schooler. And I mean, being either a football player, a cheerleader, or in band, like that's like an important component of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I mean now, like he's not part of the picture, so like it doesn't matter. But like when it comes to like my other relatives, like they know I do the podcast, but they don't know what I'm doing. So like, oh, cool. I mean, they'll ask like, so who are you interviewing? I'm like, oh, some band from Brownsville. And they're like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think it's also one thing I kind of realized is I don't personally, this is just me. I don't think it's fair to expect for your family or your friends to be enjoyers of your product. Like I don't make music and expect my close friends to be like sharing it everywhere and listening to it the most. It's like they don't have to like it. Like they're my friends. I'm not expecting that from them. I do it because I like it. But they are supportive and stuff, but I don't expect them to be crazy, like go to my shows and stuff like that,
Yeah, I actively don't want them listening to the podcast or going to my shows.
No, yeah, I'm the same. I don't want anyone that knows me to be going to my stuff, because they know me like the way I am personally.
Yeah.
So them going to my shows is just like,
yeah.
no.
my worst fear would be like, oh, like you want to know how he actually is at the house? That would be like a giant fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get you 100%, man.
So yeah, I mean, like stuff like that. I'm just kind of like, oh, yeah, I actually agree with you what you're saying about like not expecting for them to support you, because I think people would be very disappointed learning that early on, like you're not gonna have the support because again, they're not aware of what you're actually doing. They don't know the extent of it.
Yeah,
and if they do support you, I mean, even better.
Yeah, it's always great when they have your back, and they do. My friends have my back for sure, 100%. But yeah, I mean, I'm not putting that weight on them to be like, you guys are my fans.
Yeah,
like no, they're my friends, they're my family. Whether they want to listen to what I do or not is up to them, and I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah, and that was a similar thing where I had back then I had a friend who he was a musician, and he would always like show me his music, and I would always be like flat honest because I think you're right about the thing where like, if you're close to someone, people are like, oh yeah, it sounds really good, and I'm like, and I was always honest. I would say like he was like a rapper, so he would do like rap music, and I don't listen to rap music, so I would be like, I'm a bad person to ask when it comes to like judging if it sounds good or bad, just because it's not my genre. Like I'm very deep into rock. It's hard for me to judge it, and that's what I would tell him because people want to hear like it's weird because you want to hear your friends say like, oh man, that music sounds great, but at the same time you don't want people to be like lying about it. We're like, oh yeah, it sounds good, man, and then they're lying, and that makes the situation even worse.
Yeah, it's rough because I mean, for me, I would send my music out to people and be like, is this good? Is this good? Or it's out, and they're like, this is good, man, this is good, blah blah blah. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I bought into it because everyone was saying it's good. But it took a lot of time for me to realize that it wasn't good. And throughout all that time, that music was out. Like, the way I look at it is like, I left trash out with my name on it.
Oof. How did you figure out it was bad?
You just, over time, your ear for as like a producer, I guess, starts to develop more and more. And to be honest, I hate to say this, but I compared myself to people.
Yeah.
There's like a certain band from the Valley that I listened to their music and I was like, oh my God, this is what I need to be sounding like as far as quality. And stuff like that is a wake up call. It's like, oh crap, they're sounding this good. Like, man, I need to sound this good too. You know, I can't be just pushing out crap.
So yeah, so having a kind of like seeing like a bar, seeing a bar, not a bar, like drinking bar, but like knowing where the bar is right now, like in your local area, it could kind of help saying like, okay, this is how it sounds right now. This is how these bands sound like. I need to like reach that level at least, and then obviously go past it.
Yeah, and it's a healthy comparison, you know, because it's not healthy for me to compare myself to someone like, I don't know, whoever the biggest pop star or whatever is right now. Like, it's not healthy. They have millions of dollars in budget backing them, and I don't. And they have the best producers, and I don't. So it's just good to use it as like a gauge kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know some people say like, oh, you shouldn't compare yourself to others, but like to a certain extent, you kind of have to because you need to know where that gauge is. But just not get too deep into it where like you start becoming jealous or resentful of those people.
Oh yeah, 100%. Once you start getting pissed off at others because they're better than you or whatever, that's really bad. Because then that's when you really start making music that's not true, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you're making it almost out of jealousy. You're just making it out of pettiness, you know?
Yeah.
And I've been guilty of that, honestly. But I don't know. For me, I guess with this whole thing, I am a slow learner and I'm still learning. And I mean, I think I've gotten better at it now. Yeah.
Has that music? Oh, out of curiosity, did that music come out differently, like from your normal music when you're making music out of a different emotion? Like, let's say, for example, like jealousy or pity or whatever, like you were mentioning. Did it come out different from like your typical music?
That's a good question, man.
Because I would imagine a different emotion might lead to a different kind of music.
Yeah. And yes and no. Like in the moment, I'm feeling kind of, I guess for lack of a better word, pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, why don't I sound like this? And for me personally, I'm trying to make something, and because I'm trying to make something good, it comes out bad because I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking too much about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not letting it like flow or whatever. Whereas in most of the songs that are out right now, they were all done very, very fast. It was just a stream of like an idea that just came to me very smoothly. That was
Mm-hmm.
like pretty genuine, you know? So I would say that when it's like out of pettiness for me, it's just bad sounding and
Mm-hmm.
crappy. Like even if I try to sound better, it's not there. There's no structure, there's no authenticity to it basically.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because sometimes it happens to me, and like I don't get pissed, but like I just see like someone else doing interviews, and I'm like, why are you doing interviews? Like there's because like when you're a person, like obviously you're gonna have the good side about you and the bad side, kind of like the shoulder angel, shoulder devil.
Yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm like, man, like this is like really good, and it's not like I'm jealous of them, but like, oh, like I wish I could be doing that. It gets me mad. It's like if I had this,
Yeah.
I could do this. And then I mean, some of these people like they have teams behind them, so obviously you're gonna
Oh
have like
yeah.
really high production value. They have studios,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, it gets me mad more so that not that I hate them, but like more so like I wish I had that, and I wish I could be pushing that kind of content myself.
Yeah. I I get you 100% on that because as far as me, I my Instagram is pretty dry, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have content to push out like as far as visual content,
Mm-hmm.
photos or whatever or artwork, blah blah blah. But I'll look at other people and their Instagram feed or their whatever their profile looks so nice,
Mm-hmm.
clean and aesthetic and like they've had these cool photo shoots and they wear these cool outfits, blah blah blah. They've got these pictures from like their shows and I have none of that. So that's where I'm like, crap, like you suck, man. No, not really, but it's like man, I wish I could have what you have, you know, that I start getting jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Um but I started to just be like, you know what? Good for them, man. Like
Yeah.
they're doing their own thing. They're doing great. That's good for them. Eventually, I'll have my moment where I have people that help me doing that type of stuff. But for now, I'll root them on. I'll root
Mm-hmm.
for them and wish them the best. Because I mean, I would want someone on the other side to wish the best for me. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Because you never know like who's looking up to, like the same way you look at other people, there could be people looking at you, and
Right.
yeah, like why pass on that cycle of hatred or jealousy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
Oh shoot! Sorry about that. Right now I'm looking at the screen. I need to change the
No,
settings.
you're
It's
good.
because I'm recording off my computer, and I need to change the settings for the display because I have it after 30 minutes. It like dims out.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
like,
Mine's been. Yeah.
yeah, let me change the settings real quick so that won't be happening.
Nah, you're good, man. You're good.
Yeah, because I get very paranoid because when I did my first interview, it went pretty badly where a person's phone disconnected, so like his part of the interview would go on and off, and it
Oh,
wouldn't save. So the way it's working right now, like if you see on the side, it's just like 99% uploaded.
yeah.
That's perfect. But
Oh, great.
this person's stuff was again. This was I discourage people using their phones, but I mean sometimes it's understandable. But
Mhm.
it would be constantly like dropping in, and so like his parts for whatever reason this platform didn't save it,
Ooh.
and like I was like go manually look into his parts and whatever was saved, like I was able to put it back in, but there was parts where it was just me and that other guy just like agreeing to what the guy was saying, and it came out terrible.
Oh
Uh,
man.
and I'm still trying to get used to this. Like what we're doing right now is kind of perfect because I don't have to focus on the camera.
Right.
Because when you're doing this, like you have to look at the camera, but also the person. And I
Mm,
mean, it's not optimal compared to like a real life person, like a real life conversation.
gotcha.
Because
Mhm.
I did this interview with Archer O, which is a band from California.
Yep.
That is like one of my biggest regrets, not interviewing them, but the way it went down. Because there was stuff going on in my life at the time and then doing it with the technology where I'm like, okay, I can listen to them on my headphones, and then I want to look at them and like look into their eyes, see their reactions. Because I mean, when you're interviewing people,
okay.
you gotta see like if they're feeling bored, are they excited, how do they feel about this
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
questions. But I would have to look at the camera to make it appear like on screen, like I'm looking at them. So I'm like, man, this is terrible. And I think
No,
like
yeah,
when
I get you.
yeah, like when it comes to regrets, I think that's probably one of my biggest ones because I really enjoy their music. I really liked who they are, and then my skills were not up to par that time, and then
Yeah,
like
man.
and that leaves the impression because like obviously I'm not gonna be interviewing them constantly, so like that's their one experience with me, and they're like, oh man, like again, I overthink a lot, so I'm like, man, like they probably think like, oh, this guy's not really a good interviewer or like conversational person.
Oh yeah, no,
So,
I get you.
Yeah, so like I like immediately when that podcast ended, I was telling my friends like I blew it, and that like this is it. And I'm seeing them this Saturday because I'm doing the show with them, but like in the back of my mind, like I still have that like man. And then
Yeah,
you tell
I mean,
and then you tell people like, oh no man, I could have done a better job. It's kind of like yeah okay, calm down.
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, you live and you learn, man. Like you said, you don't have this crazy film production company backing you, so
Yeah.
I've been watching a couple of your interviews, and I mean they're great. I like them. I actually put them on the side while I'm playing like Rocket League or something.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So they're fun to listen to, and I mean, I haven't seen one that's like, oh my god, this is terrible. I never want to watch him again.
Yeah.
So I think you're doing good. I think you're doing good, man.
Yeah, I think overall it's pretty decent, and I wish there was like, again, like I wish I had a studio and all this stuff just to make it a little bit more high quality or
Yeah.
increase production. But I mean, it's kind of difficult because there's not a lot of studio space here in the valley.
Yeah.
Like even a studio, like say, for example, you've been to a creative cave with Adrian. Like it's, I'm not gonna give it away to people, but like it is an unorthodox spot for a studio. It's not what people think it is. And I've been to other places where like there's another studio where it's legit inside a plaza, like shopping plaza, but it's exactly, and it's very different. It's kind of like, huh? So like the valley's full of and again, it's not knocking on them. We don't have the, I guess, like the infrastructure to be doing full on studios. People do what they can, but at the same time, like if you want to be like doing your own stuff independently, like you really need to find a spot like with office space. And
Yep.
if you don't know the right people, like I know there's people who have like connections to like people who own like real estate, so they're able to get like discounts and all that stuff. But I don't have that, so I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, interestingly enough, fun fact, I've never been to a studio before ever in my life. I've never been to Creative Cave. I've worked with Adrian. No, I've never been there. I've never even met him in person.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I've never met him in person. I've never been to a studio. Never shaken his hand. But we've worked together. So yeah, it's interesting. I've never been there, but you have, and it's interesting.
Yeah. I'll tell you like off camera or off the recording, but yeah, it's very interesting like how people figure stuff out here in the valley, because you have to be really creative since a lot of our buildings or infrastructures not to like what a major city has. People, I mean, gotta figure it out and build it themselves.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
And what else do you have going on besides your plans for the show in June? Like what else do you have planned?
Man, I mean, I'm trying to work with this guy that mixed music for the band Little Image. So, and hiring people is not it's not cheap at all. It's very expensive. But I'm really curious to see what something would turn out to be, because I've always worked alone as far as producing. So I'm really curious to see what something would sound like when I hire him to work with me. I'm excited for it. So something like that. I'm planning towards that. I'm still working on new stuff, planning to release it. I don't know when, because I don't even have a space to record my vocals here, which sucks.
Yeah.
So finding a studio here is going to be difficult because they're all expensive.
Oof, I could imagine.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, right now I'm just trying to pump out as much like instrumental demos as I can.
Mm-hmm.
That way, whenever I get a chance to record vocals somewhere, I can just finish like 5, 8 songs at a time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right now I'm working on that and I'm trying to prep to see how I'm really trying to get this June show. I'm trying to make it a reality basically. So I'm already trying to prep, see what I need to get, and stuff like that. And just, yeah, just looking forward to the future basically.
Mm-hmm. Depending when you have it, maybe I could help you out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that'd be great. And I mean, when time starts arriving, we can definitely talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like again, like I always tell people, like if you guys ever need help, I'm always there to help out. Because
Yeah, for sure.
because like, one of the reasons why is because I noticed there's quite a bit of gatekeeping, or maybe people just
Yeah.
don't have the time. And I would often ask for advice because I've barely been doing like shows for 2 years, but more for
Okay.
the one. And early on, like I would like, what do I do? Like, how do I get help? And I would ask people, and people like, you should talk to this person. You should talk to that person. And then I would talk to them, and like they'd be like, yeah, man, I'll talk to you like next week, whatever. It never arrived, and I'm
Yeah.
like maybe they're just busy. Like I always give people the benefit of the doubt, like if maybe they're busy, but then I'm like, no, this person just doesn't want to talk with me, and I hate it when people like gatekeep knowledge. Because I mean, if you really care about an area, you would try to help out as much as you can with helping other people do stuff, even if it's in your niche. But I think people could also consider like a business conflict where why would you want another promoter getting into the same thing as you? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm overthinking, but like stuff like that would piss me off. So I'm like, you know what? If anybody ever asks me for help based on what I know, I'm gonna pass it along. Like there's no, man, I don't want this person competing against my shows.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the good thing to do. Just, yeah, just helping people I think is always a good idea. It can always pay you back later on in your life, you know?
Yeah, so like I always try to help out whenever I can. Because again, I do love this community. I'm gonna stay here. I will travel and everything, but like I know my roots are gonna be here, and I want to create something here. So
That's
yeah,
great, man.
So like,
I mean, yeah.
So like, yeah, like if you ever need help, again, I'm open. Just DM me, and we'll set something
Yeah,
up.
dude. For sure. I definitely will do that. And I mean, yeah, hopefully everything in June goes as planned. And man, maybe I'll meet you in person.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, whether it be Brownsville, McKinley, I'll travel to see you because I would love to see that live.
Sweet, man. Yeah, for sure. That'd be interesting. That'd be fun.
Well, hopefully I'm not taking up too much of your time. It's already been like an hour
Not
and
at
48.
Yeah, no,
if
not at
there's-
all.
If there's anything you want to be like promote or whatever, like right now is like the perfect time to be like plugging in stuff.
Not anything specifically. I mean, I wish I had a project upcoming or something like that.
I mean,
but
even if it's like current stuff, like your Spotify, your Instagram, all that stuff.
for sure. Just I mean, obviously, stream the music, share it with your friends and family, and hopefully they enjoy it. I mean, I've had a friend who told me that their mom was obsessed with one of my songs. So hey, you never know.
Yeah.
Your tia or someone might like it.
I don't see that brings up a good point. Do you know who listens to your music, like who your audience is?
I do.
What is it like?
Like my top city is Los Angeles.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, I can pull it up right now. I mean, let's see. How do I do this? I haven't been on here a while. Listeners, okay, yeah. Yes, top city is Los Angeles, Toronto, Canada, New York, London.
Oh damn! It's all the major cities.
Yeah, and then Brownsville is not even in the top 20.
You're starting a world tour.
I know, right? I'm just gonna do a world tour, just like Taylor Swift. No, let's see, because this was the past 20 days. This is okay, yeah, it's the same.
It's the same. Dang. Yeah, because
Yep.
stuff like that's really interesting. I always look at the demographics of my videos, and it's sometimes like it's
Yeah, it's good
what,
to know, honestly.
yeah. Like I know for sure, like it's the age 35 and below. Like that's like the age demographic.
Mm.
Once in a while, I'll see like 1% or 0.5% of like elderly people watching my podcast. I'm like, hey, by all means, go for it. Maybe it's by accident.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
The only one I kind of like, I wish it was different was my gender gender demographics, because it's so heavily male.
Oh, okay.
And like for me, like I'm like see, so there's two parts of me. One, obviously, I would love to have like more like women listen to the podcast, because I mean, when it comes to the scene, like they kind of get discounted. Like there's not many like female groups,
Right.
and I would love like for more of them to show up, because I mean they have a whole different experience in the world that affects music and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But then also, but on one side, I'm kind of like, okay, well, it's actually a good thing, because when it comes to shows, like for example on TV, they're mostly geared towards a women audience, whether it be like because of past stereotypes, or like, oh well, stay at home and wife. That's why like a lot of these shows are geared towards women. And then online, like for example, YouTube, it's actually like male dominated or leaning. So like,
Okay, yeah.
because again, like there's content for guys. I mean, it's very, I know it's gonna sound weird for people, but like once you get into like a media background, like when you go to college, you start realizing like certain media is focused towards one group or geared towards one group, while other stuff is focused towards another group.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and they do that intentionally.
Yeah. And for me, it's kind of like unintentionally, because I just interview people and it just happens that way. I'm like, oh, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I wish it was more broad, but oh well. I mean, I'll try to figure it out. I'll try to figure that one out.
Yeah. I mean, all you can do is just keep posting and promoting and hope for the best, really. Aside from that, everything is out of your control at that point. It's out in the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to appreciate you for your time again. It really been a lot of, I mean, we've been planning this for a while, like back and forth, and stuff would always come up.
Yeah.
So like finally, when I said Thursday, I'm like, finally Thursday. And then I had a doctor's appointment, and it went well.
Nice.
And then I was looking at the time, I'm like, man, like, I need to get back home real quick, because like I had this the interview with you planned.
Oh man, yeah.
Luckily, everything worked out well. Like no technical issues, no cutting off. So I mean, this is
nothing. Yeah, it was smooth, and it was fun. It was fun to talk about all of this stuff again, because I mean, being up here, I don't tell anyone about my stuff. I don't tell anyone that I make music, so it's good to talk about it every now and then.
Yeah, like even when I'm here, like it's hard for me to like talk to people about like, oh yeah, like this is the experience of interviewing bands. Like it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like when you find people like they're similar minded in the same niche and everything, like it's exciting, because you actually get to like talk about stuff that you hold in. That's not like the typical conversation.
Yep. For sure.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. I know it's audio only. I hope you guys enjoyed having like how he mentioned, like I hope you having like in the background doing stuff, and then hopefully it finds it's interesting.